Right. Welcome in, everyone, to Programmer Plays The Last Campfire. I know very little about this game. It is, I believe, just an indie, not a school project, but like kind of that vibe, like a small number of developers working on a pretty well polished, emotionally driven game, and that's kind of all I know. So, that just said, good. Will, of course, be blind play. That's not capturing. Why not? Oh, because... There we go. Alright, well, less elegant than I want, but whatever, it's fine. Here we go. New game. Normal mode. Hope I don't regret that. Got multiple little dudes. I like his headlamp. Getting a little bit of a Lost Winds vibe off of this, if anyone remembers that title. Oh, on the struggle buttons. Hello? Statues are giving me a little bit of a Hob vibe, if anyone remembers that game. Boy, I'm just pulling out all sorts of really old references. We lost our ore because we were trying to hug a bird. Oh, we fucked up. Trees coming out of the water, surprisingly creepy. Oh, covers the eyes. I'm gonna project maleness onto this character because
There is a place
I'm a dude.
where the lost embers go as their light begins to fade.
Oops. Interesting that we're blue now. I thought that we were going to be playing the red one.
Ember ran because standing still made them feel helpless.
Them, okay.
The wall glistened. The painting showed embers on a sacred journey.
Interesting. So we've got a maze, we've got a big fire. Alright, now I'm projecting journey onto this. I think it's a reincarnation cyclical loop kind of thing. Let's go ahead and talk about the UI choice here. Rather than having an A button on there, they have 3 empty circles and a filled circle, which I would argue is actually more intuitive most of the time, and more cross-platform. You don't have to think about, is it an A button or a B button? I play on an 8-bit DOE controller, and it uses Nintendo Switch arrangement, which puts the A button on the right side rather than on the bottom like most controllers do. So by just having the icon be positionally oriented rather than label oriented, makes it more cross-platform, which, ooh.
Ember felt so afraid and alone that it was a relief to find someone to talk to.
Buddy.
Ember froze, almost too frightened to look away, when they noticed a small satchel.
Surprisingly accurate bones there. I mean, not in the hand, obviously, but having both bones for the arm.
The satchel felt heavy. Ember looked inside. The statue shone brightly in the light.
Labeled as gold, but this looks more like a copper. Maybe even a bronze.
There was a symbol on the floor.
Right?
There was a symbol on the floor.
Right.
Ember noticed something wrong.
Okay. Intuitive enough. Ah.
There was a round space where something used to fit.
Okay. Tutorial stuff.
Ember's
I wonder what it'll
delight, the
be.
golden statue slid perfectly into place.
Fun. Cool. Alright. So this is, I don't really see it. There we go. This is a fun image processing thing. The doorway here is a source of light, right? And video games, light is often kind of shenanigans. It's getting better. As ray tracing technology advances, light becomes more real. But what we're seeing here, if you look at how there's the glow around the door, and then the light spilling out from the door onto the stairs, right? And there's a glow around that. Where the glow of those two things intersect, it's brighter, which doesn't make any actual sense in terms of photons, but if you think of it in terms of we've got two glowy things and we just like blurred the light from that and then added that back on top, then it makes perfect sense. And that's why you can see this curve from the glow of the door. So, image processing.
Ember left, feeling sorry for the stranger now alone in the dark.
I like the little of the text being dismissed.
The
That's nice.
stairway opened into a dark forest. Ember could feel fear taking over. They'd washed up alone, somewhere very unfamiliar.
Also, I appreciate them closing off the back here, though I do wish I could further to the left. I don't like that I can run off camera. Man, that's wild. So, another thing that a lot of video games do, the background here has light painted onto the textures to make it seem deeper than it is, but when the camera moves, the illusion is a little bit shattered. What's look like trunks that are far away, because there's so much light between us and them. So this trunk right here, this this trunk right here, focus on that one. You would think that that'd be pretty far away from the camera, but as we rotate, we can see actually it is basically the same plane as the one beside it. So a lot of video game developers will do that, where they sort of cram things together. They foreshorten the distance. You'll see that in like Final Fantasy X, the famous opening cutscene where they're like, you know, sitting Xanarkin looking out at the ruins. The ruins are not far away; they're just small. They get shrunk down, kind of like a Disneyland. Um, the reasons for doing that can be a variety of things. Maybe you're fighting against floating point errors. Maybe um, your tools just make it more convenient. Maybe there's problems with your lighting model not wanting to go particularly far. There's all sorts of valid reasons. There's also a lot of invalid reasons. Some developers just feel more comfortable operating that way. Okay, that's dumb, but okay.
Ember felt like they were being watched.
Gotta run. Good enough run.
The path was blocked.
Oh, there was someone watching us. Turn for me? No, a cage.
As Ember approached, the flames seemed to call out.
Okay. Guiding light, discovering a purpose.
With a feeling like falling, the forest had slipped away. Ember felt lost in darkness and ruin.
And no. Alright. Can I, like, carry the statue over? Ah, okay. Okay, yeah. So we needed to move this, climb this, get up there.
The caged flame stoked new hope in Ember.
And now we're gonna have to reverse it by lowering this chain. Music in the background. This is nice. So, oh, I actually don't need to come up here. It does kind of look like the music might be a little bit loud for you guys. Let me lower that just a hair. Never mind, I guess. Lower it here. See how that goes.
Hope was almost within reach.
Oop. It's interesting being in this little pocket dimension or whatever we're in.
The flame spoke and Ember listened.
We are hat, like our robe. I'm thinking not just a pillowcase shape, those are like ears. Which is probably pretty obvious to everyone, but you know, you don't want to assume.
The flame lingered ahead. Was it trying to escape? Or leading the way?
Okay. Oh.
campfire flickered into life. The ghost spoke. Hope has returned to a forlorn. I will warm them until they choose to move on. Ember looked to the ghost for answers. This is a place between places, to travel through as your light fades, but none have passed on in a long time. The Forest King now holds us here, and those who linger will turn forlorn. Again that word, forlorn. The forlorn are those who lost their way along the path. If you find them, send them to me and I will guide them. I am just a guide along the way to fan the flame. So many lost embers have I seen, more than I could help. Ember thought of those they loved, those they'd left behind. There are others lost along their journey. Find them and I will guide them. Step backwards, little Ember. Look behind. Upon a small grassy cliff rests a forlorn.
Okay, so we've got, based on what we just saw, and alright, Roll's Guide, what you got for me? Toggle Lanthorn, not Lantern, Lanthorn. Inventory is actually here. Okay, interesting. I was trying to, it briefly showed what I was a progress marker. Oh, hey, our little red friend.
The crow held its shining trophy tight. The stranger whispered, "Ever feel like you are being watched? I've never felt that. What does it feel like? Is it nice? It sounds nice."
Buggos. Ah, okay. Can't get away from me. I've got Stone Toad on my side.
The worm looked helpless, with no way to escape. As Ember picked it up, the worm let out a little yelp.
Well, now I feel bad. I'm assuming that getting hit by the big frog is bad news for me. I don't actually have any evidence for that, but I believe. Waiting for me to press a button there. Which I did, but it took a little while. You jackass. Does this hold? Okay. Doesn't seem like we can do anything there, so into the cave. Well, can I help you? Oh. Kind of feels like... Oh, we're back here. Interesting. Wasn't there some spiky stuff up here? Alright, so... There's 7 dudes here, and I think only 4 of them are necessary, is what I'm interpreting from that, that little pop-up there. Exploring! Little ghosts. Oh. I did not mean to drop that. But okay, that opens this up, I guess. We're kind of just going, I guess. Come with me. I bet that you would like to face your friend. I was right. But also, very rude to this person up here, so let's go talk to them real quick. Hello.
The Ember was curious. Where did you wake up? I'm headed for the crossroads. It's not far, I think. I've heard there's a nest there. A safe place.
Is there anything I need to do? Betting, like, as I do these, will solve whatever needs solving. Okay. Ah, okay, so the cave that we were in previously had the torch, and that's why we could interact with the thing.
The stranger was trapped, caught in a maze.
Okay, okay. I want to do this. Whoosh. I'm assuming that when I push this little lever down here, okay. Can I pull stones? That feels weird, but the answer is apparently yes. Oh, no. I've effed this up. Gotten ahead of myself. I see what we gotta do. Boy, I really did get ahead of myself, though. You do go up here, pull this guy back. Pull this to here. Now we can pull this guy
It was hard to make sense of this place.
here. And push this here. Now, push that onto there. Now we've got a 2 tall. Would be able to pull both. Yes. Beautiful.
The trail just kept on closing.
Now we can switch that around to the other side and push it. Now push this. Now push this. Two. Now we can rotate this back to here. Bob's your uncle. The fact that we have an extra one is a little surprising to me. Makes me wonder if there's secret solutions. Purpley.
The stranger's voice was hoarse. I just need some time, I think, to see things clearly.
Right. You can have time. What time you need? Delicious. You have anything?
The Ember was curious. I'm headed for the... I've heard there's a nest there. A safe place.
No change in that dialogue, which would be a little bit of a surprise. Ah, okay. So now we can kick this down. That gives us a nice little shortcut. Nice. Talk to this guy.
The fisherman murmured quietly between soulful breaths.
Sorrowful.
The fisherman felt so useless. His former joys were hollow. Sitting out there every day by the pond, only the dark water to hear him talk. In that darkness, a glimmer flickered. A thought beating like a drum. A thought that went round and round. It all started with a frog. Every day by the pond, a constant reminder.
I like his fish hat.
For a brief moment, the fisherman struggled to speak. He looked at Ember, hopeful. The fisherman spoke softly. There's a frog in that pond, a big one. Saw him grow from a tadpole. We were friends of a sort. Spent every day side by side. So much better at fishing than me, that frog is. Catches them before I can bait them. Oh, it makes me feel useless some days. The fisherman sighed. I've wasted so much time feeling like this. The old man looked carefully at the pond, at their rod, at Ember. Well, listen to me here, rambling on and on. It helps, though, telling someone. Thank you, Ember. If you need help catching anything, you just ask.
That's in many ways genuine bad. Oh! Hello?
The frog stared at Ember, its belly rumbling.
Want a worm? You want a worm and an ember?
This was not how Ember had imagined the end. The gurgling of water, a deafening heartbeat. But then... the frog returned Ember's good deed by leading them to a lost forlorn.
Okay. Getting a lot of little trophies here. Be interesting to look at the metrics of that and see the fall off. Okay. Unhindered.
The stranger stood alone. Their friends have fallen aside, retreating from what came next. The stranger had ventured on. Now they were deep in the woods.
You know, like there's multiple valid solutions here. Or at least multiple ways to move the parts in ways that don't appear
That's so
necessary to the
pointless.
solution. Really makes me suspicious.
The stranger spoke hesitantly. Is the campfire crowded? Let me gather myself. I'll see you there.
I wondered, I was like, there more here other than the frog? And the answer is a definitive yes. Oh, nice. Hello.
The stranger spoke. You look hungry, friend. You bring any broth with you? There's a cook in the swamp. Makes a broth like you wouldn't believe. Keep telling them that it doesn't taste right. They'll keep giving you more.
That sounds a little manipulative, but alright. Ah, okay. Yeah, I'm enjoying seeing how these areas interconnect with themselves. Cool. Interesting note about that little bit right there where we thing that wasn't just a button press. That was a button press and a move the control stick. You might have noticed there's a little hitch halfway through because I didn't have my thumb on the stick. I'm a little bit of two minds about whether or not that actually like increases immersion stuff. Some people swear by it.
Inside was a scrap of journal. The strangers on the water went on without me. Where have I landed? Vines and thorns stretch out to trip me.
Okay, I wonder if that's from Red's perspective. That would make sense to me. Come on, there's something hidden here. Feels like there would be, but I'm not seeing. Right, so maybe we're good on this branch. I do want to go back to the middle because I'm curious as to whether the ones that I've saved will show up there. Yes, so 3 out of 4 filled circles. There's also some unfilled circles, or some dashed circles, I should say. Climb up here. Feels like we should be able to go elsewhere over here. Going pretty far back here, but I'm curious. Pretty small little zone.
The path was blocked.
Still blocked there.
The foxes howled into the night. The only reply was silence.
Okay. Okay, so that I assume that I'll be back here through another door later. Seems like a game that's pretty happy to have multiple non-touching paths through the same little room. If that makes sense. Alright, let's see and do one that was in the cave over here. I also want to figure out so there's some burnable stuff there. Grab this. Run. Burn. Okay, and climbing automatically drops it.
The Wanderer's Diary. Unfamiliar trees, a path overgrown. Is this a resting place? A place between places? I call out, but mine is the only voice.
And stuff does stay burned. That's good news for us for puzzle solving reasons. I can.
The broken net hung ominously around the skeleton's neck.
That is pretty ominous. Okie doke.
The stranger shivered in the cold. They'd moved through such dark places.
Okay, cool.
They lay down and closed their eyes.
Wanted to pick up the stick, but maybe I can get a stick from it. I don't need to. Nope, I do need to. So yeah, I need to grab a stick. It'll get blown out by that guy. That's fine. I've now moved the fire.
Warmth was a distant memory, stolen by the passing miles.
It's Interesting. The effect there, kind of a burning effect, but also kind of a unwrapping effect. That's really interesting.
The stranger blinked at Ember. Is it morning already? How long have I been asleep?
Okay, so that's 4. Special here now that
The ghost
okay.
said, "Speak and I will listen." Step backwards, little Ember. Look behind. Upon a small
Okay,
grassy
so help
cliff
me
west
is
of
probably
Umberley.
literally give me a hint. And I'm ready to move on probably means I'm done with this area. Let's move on to the next zone. Let's see if we can't. Yeah, here we go. Right in. Okay.
The traveler spoke. You ever had roast frog, friend?
Haven't I hated it?
I miss a good roast frog. Oh, how they crackle.
Forsaken. Trying to keep peace.
The
Right?
stranger had been forgotten. They tried to follow as best they could. But no one heard them when they fell behind.
Easy enough. Okay, so it's the. I think the thing that makes it feel like a ribbon is that they're animating outwards, but they're not animating outwards at like. It's not just like scaling the whole object. Um, each of the bars is expanding outwards at its own that speed that is close to the others, but not quite.
The stranger looked at Ember with surprise. Someone came back for me. Thank you.
Right. So there we go. That's that one. More over here. No, wasn't really expecting. Right, so we need to figure out that key. Got a broken net, which doesn't seem super relevant. This feels like breakable to me. That rock right there. I don't have any good evidence for that. It just that's the vibe it gives off. Got another path over here.
The traveler said, "You sailed in here. Where's your boat?" "Friend, you need a boat. Go see the builder in the caves. Tell them I'm sorry I never came back."
Man, these poses are emotionally devastating. They're like crying and curled up on themselves.
The stranger had blazed their own path. Created their own rock their own islands.
Come on, that doesn't work. Oh, I see. There's a step down that's angled away from us, so it's a little...
They did not need Ember's kindness. But still, Ember stayed. Building a bridge should it ever be needed.
I wonder if there's any
The
connection
stranger
between...
met Ember's eyes. The two shared a moment of silence.
I wonder if there's any connection between this area and... or this game and Death's Door, because I'm starting to pick up a lot of, like, just artistic similarities.
The stranger met Ember's
Okay.
eyes. The
Same.
two shared a moment of silence.
Alright, so... at this point, I think the only thing that we're lacking... that key, so maybe the broken net is useful for the key. I'd be a little surprised by that, but... yeah, one left. Watch it be like I need to hand the net to the fisherman, get it repaired, and then I can use it.
The key was nestled between the reeds, but it was just out of reach.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the fisherman, maybe. That's my theory, and I'm running with it. Literally. I should have just talked to him before I ran all the way over. That's several minutes of me hoofing it that I didn't need to. That's okay. Game's very pretty. Ambience is good.
The fisherman noticed the broken net Ember was carrying. Let me have a look. See what I can do. With a silk thread, the fisherman carefully knotted it. With each knot he tied, a net began to form. Here you go. Good as new.
Right? Oh, interesting. We got an achievement for that, which means that we'll maybe be able to look at other people's achievements and figure out like how many people like got that but didn't get all of the things here. And if there's another achievement for like collecting the key, then we'll be able to see how many players like had the tools that they needed to do it and didn't. I'd be a little surprised if we got a second achievement, though. Feel a little bit patronizing, maybe.
The key was but it was just out of reach.
Hey, got ourselves a key.
The old gate was locked.
Yeah.
Ember placed the key in the lock and slowly began to turn it.
Didn't feel like that was slow. That felt like a broom.
The stranger gasped for breath. Dark water slipping above their head.
Ah. Okay. I've been a little too quick.
The sea didn't care if they sank or swam. Slowly the tides ebbed, washing over old walls. A safe harbor emerging from the inky depths. Ember reached out a hand. The stranger looked down. The ground feels good beneath my feet, friend.
Feet almost look like they have little cat pads. Right. That should be all 7. Yeah. Nice.
The ghost said, "You have done all you can, little one. Your journey lies ahead." Little one, your journey ahead will not be easy. The path to leave this place is blocked. I will guide others to follow after you clear the way.
Okay. Let's stick our head in there. I don't think it's going to be a boss fight, but in case it's like a final puzzle for the area, then we'll do that and then we'll call the episode.
There are others like me who can help. You will always be welcome here in the forest.
I'm amused that they've got some roast frog. Little frog on a stick.
The stranger thought. I feel red, the stranger said. Take care of those you care about the most. The stranger whispered. Be kind to yourself. stranger said thoughtfully. I felt so alone. I was so lost. With tears, the stranger said, I had forgotten what warmth feels like. The stranger spoke. My head feels clear for the first time. The stranger said, thank you for being so kind.
What a wholesome game.
Once again, Ember could feel eyes watching.
Ed. Okay. I'm gonna assume that this is like...
Ember approached the forlorn, but felt it was different. They said, I know what I need to do, what I need to feel. I don't want to be helped. Ember could not help. Not all problems were puzzles to be solved.
Oh. Wow.
Ember found the Wanderer's diary. The oily smell of frogs. They know more than they will say. They watch me watching them.
Genuinely impressed that this game's like not all problems are puzzles. Sometimes can't help people. Alright, I am going to assume that this is a safe place to quit. Or a safe place to end the episode. I don't think that there's a puzzle here. This feels like a good place. Cut. Next episode of this, we're gonna just come straight back to literally here. But in terms of like narrative and everything, yeah, good place to edit. So, thank you all very much for being here. Appreciate you all, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.